You're going to find some of the best quality produce around, competitive prices comparable to what you're going to pay in a grocery store.
That was going to be one of my questions,
Yep.
is how are the prices compared to
The prices
Publix or
are
Kroger?
comparable to most grocery stores. Now, on occasion, a grocery store may run a special on something, and you may be able to buy tomatoes cheaper at a grocery store than buying them at a farmer's market. But I think the quality is what really people need to think about, and that's what we try to focus on with the farmer's market, is when you're buying at the Hall County Farmer's Market and most other markets, the produce was picked the day before. So if you come on Tuesday, it was harvested Monday. It wasn't placed in a cooler. It wasn't put on a refrigerated truck. It was in that farmer's field the day before. So you're getting the freshest possible. Other than if you grew it yourself, you're getting the freshest stuff possible.
And you can usually meet the guy who picked it.
Well, that's one of the cool things. Over time, if you get to be a regular customer and you get to know those farmers, you can find out how they're growing their crops. You can ask them questions about products or pesticides that they may be using. If you're concerned about some of those things, you can ask, because the person standing there is the guy who grew it. So you can really get a lot of information that way. And it's also just a fun community atmosphere. I mean, these are really jovial, fun people to be around. They do this because they love to do it. And so you can really build that relationship, and I think it really perpetuates a sense of community and ties farmers who are out in the field doing their thing, don't have a lot of interaction with the public. This is an opportunity for the public and the producers to come together. So it's a great thing.
Why has local food become so popular recently?
Well, really over the last about 20 years, local food and the interest in the public in wanting to know where their food comes from has grown tremendously. Now, part of that is because of some of the food safety scares that we've had in years past. Last year, early in the year, we had a peanut scare. We had a peanut issue with salmonella. We've had issues with strawberries and spinach and several other things. And so I think that's one of the reasons. But I also think that so many people now are removed from the farm. Most people are several generations away from farming. There's this desire to get back to farming, to get back to nature and this whole going green idea. And farming ties right into that, and farmers markets really provide the public an opportunity to get to know those people and kind of take a step back and see what's happening in a simpler lifestyle, if you will. So it's a great thing. The last 20 years, farmers markets have increased about 80% across the country.
Wow.
Here in Georgia, that number is probably right there with it, maybe even more so. We continue to get calls on a regular basis from little communities wanting to start farmers markets. And we're just so lucky to have an established market here that's been going for 35 plus years that it really is a great asset to the community.
I think it's interesting that maybe 20 or 30 years ago people were so excited, you can get grapes from Chile, and now we're like, well, I mean, look at all the expense that, you know, the petroleum, everything that goes into transporting those grapes from Chile to here, and perhaps you can benefit your local community by buying here.
Well, and that's a big thing when you think about food production. Now certainly we have to have food that's produced on a large scale across the world to be able to feed the number of people that we have. Only 3% of the American population is involved directly in farming or production agriculture. And so that 3% has to grow a lot. But when you think about food products in the grocery store, this is a good tip for people to remember. The average domestic food product traveled 1,500 miles from where it was produced to where you bought it.
That's amazing.
The average international food product brought in from another country traveled 2,200 miles from where it was produced to where you bought it. That's a lot of time and a lot of distance, and also it's a lot of hands. It's a lot of people handling that product. There's a lot of things that have to go just right for that product to hold the quality and to be a safe product. Whereas when you buy from someone in your community who picked it the day before, there's very little that can go wrong there. Food safety is not an issue when it comes to farmers markets because you're buying the freshest produce possible.
Does food safety also tie into the interest in organic farming?
I think it does. More and more people have become aware of pesticide issues, and when you think about over the last 20 or 30 years, there have been some real problems with pesticide usage. And so I think a lot of folks have become aware of that. Certainly all the wealth of information that's available via the internet and other sources, people are more aware of how products are grown, and they want the safest food possible. Now, I'm not anti-pesticide. Organic is great, and for those folks who are willing to pay for it, it's a great thing. But we do need pesticides, and we have to be able to use those products to grow the volume of food that we need. But whether you want to go organic or you just want good fresh produce, you can get it both at a local farmer's market.
So we have organic produce
We
at
do.
Hall County?
We have several growers who are organic, and we also, the big thing to think about is Farmers don't want to use pesticides if they don't have to, because number one, it's costing them money. That's
Exactly.
less money they're going to make. So they're only going to use a pesticide product if they have a problem that needs to be addressed that's going to affect their quality or their efficiency. And so most of the folks out there, they're using 2 or 3 products commonly that are available to the farmer and to the homeowner. They're using very little of it. They want to keep their costs down. They want their food to be as clean and as fresh as possible.
So how many local farmers do we have that attend the farmers market?
We have approximately 70 farmers who are members of our farmers market. And the way our farmers market works, it's actually its own entity. It's a nonprofit that was established back in the 80s. We have the members pay a membership fee to join. We have a board of directors that sort of coordinates the activities in the market. I just serve as an advisor and try to promote and help them out along the way. But we have about 70 folks who are members. Now, early in the season, if you come in late May or early June, there's not as many farmers. There may be, 10 or 15 farmers there. As we get on into the season, when all the traditional summertime crops start rolling in, your tomatoes and squash and okra and cucumbers and all those great summertime vegetables start coming in, on a Saturday we'll have 30, 35 farmers there. So there's a lot of variety. You can really shop around and get to know those folks. And I encourage people when they come out to try to buy from as many different farmers as you can. Kind of spread it around and give everybody an opportunity to do a little business.
If you've never ate fresh produce, the flavor difference, the vitamin content, the reason for a fresh market is just that. It is the richness, the boldness, and the flavors that fresh produce carry. And until you've had it, there's nothing like it.
Today we've learned different ways that Hall County government helps us connect. Find out how you can be part of that Hall County connection by visiting hallcounty.org. You'll find dogs and cats currently available for adoption and learn about volunteer opportunities. Download the Parks and Leisure brochure to find upcoming events, and check out the Extension Office newsletter for more information about Hall County agriculture. If you have any questions, please contact me at 770-535-8288 or nyoung@hallcounty.org. Thank you for watching. For Hall County Connection and TV 18, I'm Nikki Young.
You're watching TV 18, the government channel for Gainesville and Hall County.